Welcome to the deep dive. We're taking some really profound source material today, looking at cosmology, biology, history, and boiling it down for you.
That's right. Our mission really is about perspective. It's about mapping this incredible journey humanity's been on.
You mean how science sort of dragged us from thinking the universe was small and cozy?
Exactly. From that, tiny little universe governed by gods like Anu and Ea to the huge, almost frightening cosmos we understand today.
Yeah.
But it's also beautiful.
And one thing that jumps out right away from the sources is just the sheer humility needed. There's this line suggesting our descendants will look back and be, well, amazed that we did not know things that are so plain to them.
That really sets the stage, doesn't it? It's humbling.
It really is.
Because our ancestors, say in Babylon, they imagined this small world, very human-centric, gods pulling the strings.
And science flipped that completely, revealing a universe so old, so vast, it makes us seem almost insignificant at first glance, like a cosmic accident.
But that's the core paradox we're digging into, isn't it? The sources argue that we're not detached.
Right. That's the counterintuitive part. We are, and I'm quoting here, in a very real and profound sense, a part of that cosmos, born from it.
Every atom in us traces back. So let's start unpacking that scale. Where are we right now?
Well, the sources call Earth a mote of dust circling a humdrum star. Doesn't sound very grand, does it?
Not really. And that humdrum star is out on the fringes of the Milky Way.
A galaxy with, what, 400 billion other stars? Just staggering.
Makes your head spin a bit. And that's just our galaxy. Look further out.
To Andromeda, M31.
Yep, the nearest major spiral galaxy.
Yeah.
And it's 2 million light years away.
2 million. And we're about 30,000 light years from our own galactic center. We really are tucked away.
We are. It's vast.
Yep.
And it's not just space, it's time, too.
The age of the universe.
Yeah.
Current estimate is, what, 15 to 20 billion years since the Big Bang?
So we occupy this tiny, tiny sliver of time, an instant in the expanse of ages, as the material puts it.
But here's the fascinating bit. Despite all that scale, there's a unity.
Right. The laws of nature, like gravity, they work the same everywhere we look. That's huge.
And crucially for life, the elements.
The elements, yes. Things like hydrogen, sodium, magnesium, iron, the stuff life needs, it's everywhere. Diffused through countless stars.
So the stars aren't just distant lights, they're cosmic factories.
They forge the elements that make us up. So in a very real sense, we are descendants of the Big Bang.
Driven now to understand the very cosmos we came from. It's quite a thought.
It is. The ingredients are universal. So the next big question is, how do they get organized here on Earth?
And for how quickly things can change, we need to zoom right in. From cosmic scale to crabs.
Yes, the hike crabs in Japan. It's a fantastic story, near the site of the Battle of Danawura.
Okay, tell us about that. How does it show selection?
Well, the local fishermen, remembering the samurai lost in that battle, started a tradition. If they caught a crab and its shell looked a bit like a scowling samurai face,
They throw it back.
they'd throw it back, out of respect or maybe superstition. But if the shell looked plain, ordinary,
Dinner time?
exactly. So crabs with shells resembling faces survived more often. They reproduced. Their offspring inherited that trait.
And over centuries, that resemblance got stronger and stronger just because of what the fishermen were doing.
It's a clear case of artificial selection, selection by humans. But you might ask, hang on, that's a cultural choice by fishermen, right? How does that prove natural selection?
Good question. What's the link?
The mechanism is the same. Inheritance plus selection pressure equals change. It doesn't matter what the pressure is, a predator, the climate, or fishermen throwing crabs back.
The key is the power of selection itself. It drives change, and sometimes really quickly.
We see it all the time with animals we've domesticated. Think about cows, how much milk they produce now compared to wild aurochs. Or dogs from wolves.
All in, what, 10,000 years or so? Relatively speaking, that's fast.
Very fast. So if we can cause such big changes unconsciously or consciously in that time frame, imagine natural selection working over billions of years at the molecular level.
Okay, so let's go back further then. Beyond crabs, beyond cows, to the very start, the organic soup.
Right, the primitive Earth. A very different place. Hydrogen-rich atmosphere, lots of energy from lightning, UV light.
Breaking down simple molecules.
Breaking them down, allowing fragments to recombine in the oceans into more complex stuff. Prebiotic molecules.
But that whole process needed a spark, a crucial accident.
The key moment, when a molecule somehow formed that could make rough copies of itself.
The ancestor of DNA.
The earliest ancestor. Suddenly you have reproduction, you have mutation, slight errors in copying, and then selection kicks in, the less effective copies get weeded out. Evolution begins.
But it was slow going at first, wasn't it? Just random mutation.
Very slow. Until maybe 2 billion years ago, something incredible happened. A game changer.
The invention of sex.
The invention of sex. And you can't overstate how important that was.
Why? What did it change so dramatically?
Before sex, a useful mutation was stuck in one lineage. It could only spread slowly, generation by generation.
Like passing down a single letter correction in a long text.
Exactly. But sex. Suddenly, organisms could swap huge chunks of their genetic code, whole paragraphs, pages, and books, as the source puts it.
Creating new combinations almost instantly, ready for selection to work on.
Precisely. It massively accelerated diversification. It's why life exploded in complexity after that. And look at the result, an oak tree, and you, fundamentally made of the same basic molecular toolkit. Maybe 50 core organic molecules doing the work.
It's an amazing unity. But understanding all this, getting from the Big Bang to, well, us, that path wasn't straightforward.
Not at all. History is littered with lost knowledge. Which brings us to Alexandria.
The Great Library. Just the description, 10 research halls, a zoo, an observatory, 500,000 scrolls.
They were serious. Officials searching ships for new books to copy. It was the intellectual center of the ancient world for centuries.
And its loss was catastrophic. Think of Aristarchus of Samos.
Aristarchus, yeah. He figured out the Earth orbits the sun, that stars are distant suns. Basic cosmology we take for granted.
But his work was lost, and humanity had to wait almost 2,000 years to rediscover those ideas.
Because the prevailing dogma, the Earth-centered model, was more comfortable, easier to accept. The library's destruction cemented that loss. It shows how fragile knowledge can be.
And that tension between comforting belief and hard-won facts, it plays out again dramatically with Johannes Kepler.
Oh, Kepler's story is incredible, because he wanted to believe in cosmic perfection. Like the Pythagoreans, like Copernicus even. He thought planets must move in perfect circles.
The circle being the perfect shape, divinely ordained.
Right. And this wasn't just aesthetics, it had theological weight. The church supported it. It held back astronomy for centuries, as the sources point out.
But Kepler had something others didn't.
He had Tycho Brahe's data, unbelievably precise observations of the planets, especially Mars. And he was a brilliant mathematician. He spent years trying to make Mars fit a circular orbit.
Years of grinding calculation, and it just wouldn't quite fit.
It was so close, off by only 8 minutes of arc. That's tiny. Less than 1/10 of the width of the moon in the sky.
He could have ignored it, called it observational error, fudged the numbers. It must have been tempting.
Immensely tempting. It conflicted with his deepest beliefs about cosmic harmony. But he couldn't ignore the data.
What did he say about that moment? It feels pivotal.
He wrote something profound, that it is only right that we should accept God's gift, the precise data, with a grateful mind. Those 8 minutes pointed the road to a complete reformation in astronomy.
Wow. He chose the difficult truth over his dearest illusions.
He had to. He abandoned circles for ellipses. It wasn't as perfect, but it matched reality. That's the scientific ethic right there.
That commitment to evidence, even when it's uncomfortable, that's the legacy. And that intelligence, the thing that lets us figure these things out, now faces its biggest test.
Survival. But first, let's put that intelligence in cosmic context. Think about information storage. Your brain, the cerebral cortex, holds maybe 10 to the 14 bits of information.
Which sounds like a lot, like 20 million books worth.
It is a lot. But compare it to all the books in the world, that's maybe 10 to the 16, 10 to the 17 bits. Collectively, we know vastly more.
And even that is probably tiny compared to what an advanced alien civilization might know.
Oh, potentially minuscule.
Yeah.
They might be dealing with 10 to the 20, 10 to the 30 bits, who knows. Our intelligence is still young, cosmically speaking.
Which leads directly to the Drake equation and SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence.
Right. Lots of factors in that equation. Stars, planets, life arising.
Yeah.
But the huge unknown, the bottleneck, is that last factor, $5.
The fraction of civilizations that make it through technological adolescence without destroying themselves. The great filter.
And our own recent history gives us a terrifying benchmark for that filter. Think about destructive power. World War II, a global catastrophe, used about 2 megatons of explosives in total.
2 megatons. And by the late 20th century,
A single standard thermonuclear bomb could yield that much, and the global arsenal peaked at over 10,000 megatons.
we gained the power for total self-annihilation in just a few decades. A cosmic blink.
That's the filter right there. It's stark. And it's not just about war.
No. What else?
Resource allocation. Wisdom. The sources mention that a civilization facing uncontrolled population growth might be forced to spend all its energy just feeding and housing itself.
No resources left for long-term thinking, for looking outward.
Exactly. Becomes insular, focused only on immediate survival on the home world. Another way to fail the test, perhaps.
So the stakes are ultimate. Annihilation versus what? What's the cost of trying to pass the test?
This is the great irony highlighted in the material. A decade-long, serious SETI program, listening for signals from others who did survive.
Costs less than what?
Less than one modern naval destroyer. The choice in priorities seems incredibly clear when you put it like that.
Do we invest in listening for survivors or in the tools of potential self-destruction?
If self-destruction isn't the almost inevitable fate, and we have to hope it's not, then the implication is amazing.
That the sky might be humming.
Softly humming with messages, as the source beautifully puts it. Signals from civilizations that made it.
And receiving such a message, it wouldn't just be data.
It would be proof. Proof that someone has learned to live with high technology. Proof that survival is possible. Hope transmitted across the stars.
Which brings us right back to where we started, this cosmic perspective.
Realizing we're matter that is woken up. Local transmutations of the cosmos into consciousness. And from that viewpoint, every one of us, every life form is incredibly precious.
But we're at this crucial fork in the road, aren't we? The same technology sends probes to Mars and points missiles across continents.
The choice is ours. We've established that the universe follows patterns, laws, and that we make our world significant by the courage of our questions and by the depth of our answers. That's our power.
So the final thought for you, the listener, building on all this. If we truly want Earth, humanity, to matter in the long run, if we want to pass Kepler's test on a planetary scale,
Where should our priorities lie right now? Should we fund the systems geared towards global conflict?
or invest in the curiosity, the listening, the reaching out, the things that might let us join a galactic community? It's the biggest question there is.